What's up, Facebook, YouTube family? What's going on? All right, we're going to get started real quick. But first things first, I'm Kyle Fugit. We are, my wife and I, we do this. I do this every Wednesday. We're back with another free live training over a topic that will make your life easier and your business easier as well. And so we're here to just give back every week. We just try and funnel as much information and as much value as we can right back to you guys. So this is live in the Facebook group. This is live on YouTube. We're going to start really going live like in every channel that we can, just so, you know, if you're in between, you know, lunch breaks, you're in between business, you're in between deals, you are just curious, you can jump on, you can ask questions. Like, we're here, right? We're here for you. We're here to really funnel back into you guys. And that way you guys can do more than just move the needle, but actually get the inside scoop on things that we're doing, things that people do, like really doing business, Airbnbs, real estate, raising money, the whole 9 yards, right? So without further ado, I'm just going to jump in. Today, we're going to be talking about some successful partnerships, how to be successful in your partnerships, right? We all have heard the bad stories about bad partnerships, you know, being burned, being left with a big bill, or people stealing money, just a lot of stuff, right? So everybody's like, I don't want to do partnership. Well, if you find the right partnerships, those are the ones that take you to the next level. It doesn't matter what your partnership is or what you partner in. It's about finding the right one. So we're just going to go through some high level stuff today, and I'm going to give you some examples of what we're in. We're in multiple partnerships as well, you know, and we're just going to dive in. Okay. So like, I don't really know what else to say, how else to say it other than this is what we do. Right. And yes, I've been a part of partnerships that maybe I was the bad link when I was real young. Actually, I was the bad link in one of the partnerships that I was in when I was super young in the firewood business. And, you know, there's things that could fix that, like transparency, you know, that would be for instance. But we're going to go through some of that. But if you guys are watching, or you watch later, you watch the recording later, you know, you can ask questions in YouTube. I try to really monitor that the best way I can, and, you know, answer questions, communicate with you guys. And then, of course, on Facebook, if you're in the Facebook group, like if you're in the Facebook group and you're not watching these, I don't know what you're doing. But if you're in the Facebook group, make sure and if you're on YouTube and you're wondering what that is, the Facebook group is Power Path, Airbnbs, boutique hotels, and creative real estate. So make sure you join that. It's a completely free community. We do, like I said, we do these all the time inside of that group. So if you're watching on YouTube, or we're actually going to start pushing, I think, to Instagram or something like that pretty soon. You know, we're just going to be pushing everywhere, right? Now, stay to the end, because at the end, we're going to be talking about the challenge that's coming up. So if you guys are looking to grow your co-hosting or your Airbnb management company, whatever you want to call it, co-hosting, management, Airbnb business, whatever, if you're looking to grow that, we have the challenge going on coming in April 14th. So, make sure you stay for that. And I'm going to be talking about some stuff when it comes to that. Now, to really get this training started and really get it going, let me double check. I got a few. Let's see. What's up, Abby? How did you and Allie like Maine? We loved it, right? It's actually a picture of the Bluff House. And we loved it. I mean, we worked our tails off from like Friday to Monday and then flew out, but it was cold. It snowed. Like down here in Georgia, it's like 73, 75 degrees. Like, you know, but we worked hard. We were with both sets of partners on that one. And it was probably like just alignment's perfect, right? But I did love it. The scenery is absolutely beautiful. We don't really have that down here. The scenery, the views, the trees, you know, the way that the pines grow, it's just different, you know. All right, now jumping right in. So I already went through this. I'm Kyle Fugit. We have Power Path. We do these trainings all the time. That's my wife, Allie, both of my kids. They're a little bit older now. We'll have to re-update that picture right there. But growing Power Path, we launched Power Path last year, coming from coaching another community. This is what we do. If it comes to short-term rentals and boutique hotels, this is where you need to be. We have the free group, and then we have the actual mentorship as well. And if you're interested in that, shoot me a DM, book a call, we could talk, right? Let's see.
Abby said, we were in the 60s last week. You guys came just in time for a spontaneous snowstorm. Yes. Wintry mix is real. Like it snowed, then it rained, then it hailed and sleeted. And then we understand what mud season is now. Like we're getting really familiar with like mud season. So, all right. Now let's identify some partnerships. Like when we think partnerships, we think like I'm buying, they're doing all the work, or they're buying, I'm doing all the work. We're putting in some sweat equity. But like, to be honest, the first partnership that you'll really ever even encounter is like boss and employee. Right? That is a true partnership, right? Like the boss has some expectations. They pay you to get them done. That is a partnership. You both are mutually benefiting off of that relationship. So boss and employee is actually a really, really good a really good partnership that you're gonna like a good example. Now, do you want to go for business partnerships that are structured like this? No, God, no. You absolutely don't want to. But this is a very real partnership. And but as a boss and employee partnership, like what the vision is, right? You know what the expectations are. So it's funny that we're like, no, I wouldn't want to do that. But like you technically enter one in, you're like 14, 15, 16 years old with somebody. Marriage is a big one, and it has to be mutually beneficial to the same avenue, if you will, the same goal. If not, one of them, you're going to quit, right? Like you just quit. If you don't have kids and all that other stuff, like it's easy to quit this partnership here. Then you got, and this is the best partnership you'll ever be in, by the way, marriage. But you have to be aligned. You have to be, I think everybody watching this is probably married. So you know what I mean. Investor and GC. So you have one person purchasing, the other person doing all the work. The good synonymy there is like you're both bringing something different to the table and your roles are identified. And we're going to get into that too. But that is a very, very, very common partnership in the investing world and in the real estate world. You have owner and operator. So it's similar to like a GC and investor, but like you can do businesses. So somebody's putting up the money to purchase the business, or they own the business and the other person is operating the business. And let's say you're doing a 50-50 split or something like that. So your roles are defined there. Everything understands, like, the owner has a role and the operator has a role. It's really kind of worded differently, but we just really say like sweat equity and capital, and you can apply that across anything. And another thing that we're currently in is coach and assistant coach. Like this is a really cool one because we coach my daughter's softball team, and I've got 2 or 3 assistant coaches that are like just bomb, like great, right? Like I know I can go do something and say, I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna do this. Y'all go handle this, and they're gonna go handle it, and we all come out with the same outcome, right? But also, like yesterday we were at practice, and one of the coaches was like, hey, I don't want to step on anybody's toes here, but I feel like we should do X, Y, and Z. And it's very true. I'm like, hey, I didn't even think about that, right? They told Allie that. I'm like, hey, that's a great point. We really need to start like rotating them in, in different things and doing this, just overall great partnership to have. But you have to be aligned. Okay. So just want to give you some like ideas and some, it's not always just about business. There's the marriage, there's boss, there's employee, like coach and assistant coach, teacher and student. Like those are all partnerships, as long, and they work well as long as everybody's going towards the same goal. So now, why do they fail, right? We hear about more bad partnerships than good partnerships. I've coached a lot of people out of bad partnerships. Like legitimately, like, hey, you're going to court, you're going to have this lawsuit, so let's come up with a value of this, and so we can settle before that ever goes, right? Because then you're both going to be spending a lot of money on lawyers. There's all this animosity, hostility built, relationships built, like, or broken. Like, there's a lot of stuff there that can get hurt. But let's talk about why. Like, just to be honest, I had this lady where they were partnering, her and this other girl was partnering on a deal. They were both real estate agents, and they both did design, and they both had a little bit of money. And I was like, okay, cool. And she was like, yeah, it sucks. And I was like, yeah, because y'all are trying to do the exact same thing as each other. Like you're not balancing your workload there. Like neither one of y'all have different expertise. You have the exact same knowledge about the exact same thing, but you have your different styles. So you can't agree on anything. And then there's a whole nother puzzle piece that's missing because nobody can do the work. Everybody wants to do the work. One of you is going to be handling the GC, and the other one's going to be doing exactly what that you love to do is design. So of course it's not going to work. That doesn't even make any sense. So there's alignment. So why do partnerships fail? They're not in alignment. Like just very, very simple. They're not in alignment. Now, if you go back and you say like any bad partnership that you've ever done, were you in alignment? Like, and maybe you both had the goal of like, we're going to do 20 grand a month or whatever. You're like, okay, cool. But that's like more of like a goal thing, but it's not really like an alignment. Like, what do your values look like? What are what does your daily schedule look like compared to theirs? What does your family dynamic look like compared to theirs? Right? If they're possibly single, no kids, no wife, no nothing, and you've got a family of 4 or a family of 6, are you in alignment there? Because one's going to be like work, and the other one's going to be like family, work, family, work. So then you're not going to be like, you're going to be clashing and you guys can't get on the same page, can't have meetings at the same time, like all this stuff. One's going to be sleeping in super late or or getting up super early and then going to bed super early. So like there's this bad alignment there. Your values are different. Your alignment's different. Your season of life is different. That doesn't make sense, right? Your goals, most of the time, your goals align at the beginning, but then the goals separate, right? So if you have somebody that is, again, let's just say single, no kids, and you have a family of 6, your goals are going to change as you grow. So maybe you're in a partnership for 2 years, and then you're like, okay, my goals have changed. I want to like kind of start heading into retirement. The other person's like, well, I'm only 22. I don't want to retire. I want to work and hard. Like I want to work really hard. I want to do this. I want to do that. So like your goals will shift as you go. So I've seen partnerships fail based off of that. Transparency is a great one. And this is where people think that you're being rude or you're being a butthole or, you're holding back, or you're beating around the bush. Like you just have to be transparent, and you can be transparent without being mean or without being rude. Okay. Like you can be fully transparent and say, hey, look, I feel like this is what's going on, X, Y, and Z. And that is a great time to realign. Hey, I feel like I might be picking up a lot of the slack here. Is everything cool? Like people don't have those conversations, and we're all adults. So not everybody has these conversations. And then we look back and say, well, they should have had this conversation. They should have had that. But like realistically, it's a hard conversation to have. Like that is a very hard conversation to have. Say, hey, I don't think you're picking up your slack. That's like, depending on how they receive it. And that's where you kind of get in alignment at the beginning. Like, and you have transparency at the beginning. Like, hey, if I'm not doing my job, please tell me. Right. And it may not fail, but you may both want to exit. Your workload. So this is kind of comes back with transparency as like a checks and balances. So it fails. The partnership will fail because one person's doing all the work and one person's not doing any. You will never, ever, ever have a partnership where it is an equal 50-50 split of workload. You won't. It's impossible. One person, let's just say, for instance, one person does design, one person does operations, and one person does acquisition, right? So we're in a partnership very similar to this. There's a lot of lift up front from 1 or 2 people, right? Or like your acquisitions team is super, super heavy up front. A lot of work, due diligence, offers, negotiations, raising money, all that. Then you have the design comes in, and then the acquisitions literally just hands it off to design. Design has all of the lift, ordering stuff, build out, all of this stuff. And then they get done and they hand it off. Then you have operations. We have operations forever. So like 3 years down the road, your acquisitions team is still a part of that deal. Is that fair? You tell me. If you guys are in alignment, you guys understand the workloads, you understand the goals, and you're transparent, it could definitely work, 100% work. But if you're not making any money and you look back and you say, well, you got equity and you're not doing anything, you're sitting on your butt, like, is that a fair assumption? Right? So you have to be
really clear on your roles defined, because that the next one is identified roles, is you want to set up a partnership for failure, skip all of these. Like legitimately just skip them. If you want to set up a partnership for failure, like guaranteed failure, not just like it may fail, guaranteed failure, skip these. Shoot, skip one of these. You skip one of these and you will have a failed partnership. No question. Okay? So this is why they fail. Alignment, goals, transparency, workload, identified roles. Now, I had a partner, I was telling you at the beginning, I had a partnership. I was in a partnership, me and a buddy of mine were selling firewood. We're cutting, splitting, selling firewood, delivering, stacking, the whole thing. I was like 16 years old. No, I was 16 because I was driving. And it was good. It was great. We're selling truckloads of firewood. I had a little S10 of mine. It was like $75 a truckload back in the day, right? $75 a truckload. What happened was we were using my truck, my chainsaw, my axe, my gas, all of that. And a buddy of mine, it was my best friend at the time. I ruined that relationship. It was my best friend at the time, and he wasn't spending any money on anything. But we were splitting everything 50-50. And at some point it hit me that I was paying for all the stuff, and he was still getting 50% of all the revenue. And instead of being transparent with him and saying, hey, like, this isn't working, we need to split like a 60-40 or like a 65-35 or something like that, or we both need to chip in on gas or whatever. I just was like, hey, I'm just going to start doing this on my own. I don't need you, right? Because I'm spending all the money anyways. And that was the worst situation I had ever put myself in because I lost my best friend at the time. That is a true story. That is absolutely true. And he came back to me and he said, dude, if you were just transparent and just told me that, like, if you would have just told me, hey, we're going to split this 60-40, like, I know you're spending all the money. We just didn't have time to have that conversation. But like, what's done is done. And I was like, oh my God. So that transparency there literally killed the friendship, killed business, all that stuff. And we just quit selling firewood, like legitimately quit selling firewood. So the transparency alone, like our workload was pretty much the same. We had identified roles. We split everything. Goals were the same. Alignment was the same. I did not have the transparency, period. End of story, right? That's the only thing. That's why I said skip one of these and your partnership is destined for failure. Now, how do you make them successful? Well, you talk about all these, right? I'm just going to unveil the secret here. That's a big secret. It's a failure if you skip these. If you don't skip these and you identify them, it's successful. It will 95% of the time it's going to be successful if you hit all of these. You're in alignment. So you guys know, okay, hey, look, you align with them, their family. And I'll give you a perfect, for instance. So we were in Maine this weekend working at the Bluff House. And there's two other partners on this deal. It's two other couples, like families on this deal. And we were all there together. So it was me and Allie. It was another couple and their son, and then another couple and their daughter. And we didn't bring our kids yet. Like, we knew there was a lot of work to go on, so we didn't take our kids or anything like that. But what we realized is the alignment there and where they are in their life, where they want to go. It's very family oriented. The asset is very family oriented. We were all in alignment on where we need to go. We all have the same goal. We talk about the same numbers. There's no like secrecy, right? Everything's out on the table. Hey, here's the budget. Here's what we paid for it. Here's how much money we brought in. Here's this, here's that, here's this, here's that. And the goals are the same. Like, we all align on the decisions. It's not like one person's trying to make all the decisions and everybody else is just like, oh, I guess that's what they made the decision for. Nobody's pulling that card of like, well, I'm an expert here. It's all up for discussion all the time. And we all are in agreement of almost everything. So that alignment is perfect, right? We have the same vision. We have the same thoughts. We have the same ideas. the family oriented, like all of that is perfect. And when we left there and nobody sat around going, hey, I really don't want to do this or don't want to do it. We had a lot of work. There was a lot of laughs. There was a lot of work done. Not once did anybody just sit around going, I'm tired. I don't want to do anything. No, everybody was like in alignment with the same goals. We were all there to help each other. So like that was absolutely perfect. Our goals are the same. We all have the same goals. And we knew each other before the partnership. It wasn't just like I just called this guy on the phone and was like, hey, do you want to do this? We talked about this, like getting into a partnership for like months before we actually pulled the trigger. Our transparency is clear, like very, very, very clear. So you get in alignment and then you get in alignment with your goals. And then from there, it's like, hey guys, if I'm not doing something that you think I should be doing, let me know. If I think you're doing something, maybe you're doing it wrong or like we could be doing better, like, hey, I'll let you know, but like I'm not going to overstep. Okay. The transparency is amazing. Like it really is. And we've offered first, we've asked questions, we did this one, and they would say something to us, like, because we're doing all the operations. And so they would say something to us like, well, I kind of expected you to do that because that's what I thought was in our notes and our meeting notes and stuff like that. And I'm like, hey, like you're completely right. Totally forgot about that. But they're not going like, oh, well, that pissed me off. Like, I'm going to go back and say something else. It was like very just transparent. Like, hey, I thought we already talked about this. That's why we wanted to do X, Y, and Z. Perfect. Transparency is there. There's no like back of your mind. I don't like this situation. I don't like that situation. No, it's all out on the table. We either agree and we move on or we disagree and we change it. Perfect. Workload. We know exactly what everybody's doing. We had identified workloads before we even stepped on foot on property this weekend. Everybody had exactly what they were going to be doing. There was a list of all the to-do stuff where we got there, and there was names next to all of the categories. Like the banner needed to be changed on the sign. So it was like Kyle and Allie and Lori, I think is what it said on there. So like, and honestly, Kyle and Allie and Lori didn't even do it. It was me and Joe that did it. But it was just because everybody was doing something. We're like, hey, look, I'll pick this up if you can take this. I'll change this if you can change that. So the workload was identified, and we were super flexible, and we just shifted it. But that's awesome, like amazing. Okay, and identified roles. So we're coming in as managers. They're going to become more like some silent, passive partners, but they are also wanting to be in the mix. They want to see the back end. They want to see how it works. They want to be involved to make changes if things aren't going the way they need to be going. So identified roles, we identified that a long time ago. And we talked about it and we documented it and we had a listing, OA, which is operating agreement, but a contract signed. Hey, at this point, if you want to step out, you'll lose equity, like all of this stuff. We talked about all of these things in the OA. That's how you make them successful. So if you're thinking about getting into a partnership with your best friend, that's fine. But these need to be in alignment. Now, we were in a partnership last year, became a really good friend of ours for a strategic investor. It was a meetup company we did last year. Me, Allie, and Brian were partners on it. We ended up moonlighting it in December, but it was a really good partnership. But because we were all in alignment, our goals started changing. So we ended up moonlighting it. It was like I think we're going to try to get dinner or something this month. Like we still try to meet every quarter because we're still really, really good friends. Our goals just changed. His goals changed. Our goals changed. And we said, hey, how do we really feel about this company? Transparency, right? It's not trying to stay somewhere because he thinks we should stay or he's staying because we think we should stay. Like, there's none of that. It was like, hey, I just want to be honest. I just want to get your temp check. How do you feel about this company? Do you really feel like this is where we need to put our attention? Where focus goes, energy flows. So if we feel like we need to focus on this 100%, then let's do it. If we don't, then we need to stop playing like kidding ourselves and let's just moonlight this. And that's exactly what we did. But we had identified roles. We had split workload. We were transparent. Again, very good friend. We value the friendships over the business. Like the friendships need to stay intact regardless if we continue to work together or not. Don't care about that part. I want to make sure that I value that friendship That friendship means more than anything. We were just transparent. And it was very successful, right? We made some money through the year. We ended up closing it down. We learned a lot. We got closer as friends. We met a lot of great people. We went places. We traveled. We did all this stuff. And then we said, hey, we're just going to moon like this. It was fun. We just don't want to focus on it, right? We have other businesses like hotels and STRs and Power Path. There's other things that we want to focus on. And strategic investor just isn't one. I actually have a strategic investor mug sitting right next to me. See that? Like, we had a lot of fun. And we still talk about doing some meetups every once in a while. Like, it was great. But the transparency was perfect. Okay? Now, I tell you all of that to say, why would you have a partnership? Like, just to be honest, why would you go? There's a lot of people I know that said, I'll never do a partnership because they end up so bad. And there's this and there's that. Like, okay, cool. Like, if it's not for you, if a partnership is not for you, it's not right for you, it's because you don't have the goals that align with needing a partnership. So if you're just flipping houses and you're like, hey, I only want to flip 2 a year, I do everything myself, like, cool. Like, I'm not going to like throw shade at you for any means because your goal doesn't align with having 20 flips a month. If your goal was like 20 flips a month, like, you better be doing a partnership or you're going to drive yourself mad. Okay. So why would you have them? Scale. I got it right here. Scale, balance, success, and you leverage expertise. My son is knocking at the door. He just got home from school. So you would leverage your expertise. You have success, balance, and scale. Hold on one second. Sorry, my son just came in with a firefighter hat that he got from school. So said it's suit day, I guess is what he said. So anyways, so why would you have them? You get scale, balance. You want time balance, time freedom. Maybe it's time to hire some stuff out and partner with some people that are also on the same alignment as you. People hit success a lot faster, depending on how you classify success, but people hit your success factors or your success measures faster on partnerships. And you can leverage expertise, right? So you can do anything, but you can't do everything. And I don't even remember where I heard that, to be honest. I don't know if I read a book or one of my old mentors told me. I actually have no idea. But we say it all the time. So it's not a quote from me. It's a quote from somebody else. And I'm sure they didn't come up with it either. It was probably something they heard, passed on from the 20s or something, I don't know. But if you guys are wanting to scale, depending on what your company is, depending on what your business is, if you want to scale and you want to scale fast, then partnership is the answer. You just have to be aligned in what that partnership look like. So what kind of partnership could you have? You could have a commission-based partnership. You could have an equity-based partnership. You could have a active income versus a passive income partnership. You could have, an exit equity partnership. You could have all these things, right? It doesn't matter. Okay. It's whatever works best. And you might have to realign. You might have to go back and say, hey, look, that was a little ambitious. I would love to do this, but I can't do that until, we hit X numbers or whatever. Then you can have your balance. So if you're doing a time balance, like, hey, like, I don't really have time for X, Y, and Z. I have to go do this, but I would partner with you to do X, Y, and Z. You can bring home, this X amount of deals, money, clients, whatever. We're just going to balance, right? It could be anything from, if you're wanting to grow your STR business and you're like, hey, I want to balance my time, or my expertise. You're leveraging expertise too. I want to balance my time. Like, I will do all the operations. You do all the sales. Okay. Well, somebody who's good at sales is going to step into that and be like, I got you. I hate doing operations. Cool. So then you have a time balance too. You have a time balance. You have like almost like an awareness balance. Like, hey, I am not good at that, so I'm gonna like not hire that out, but I'm gonna partner with somebody who's in alignment with me. Then you get like success, right? So I talked about you can hit your, so if your success is measured by revenue or clients or net operating income, whatever your success is, you have to scale to get there. So then you're going to partner to scale to hit success, right? And yes, like if you're in a partnership, you probably have to split that income or whatever, but you can do it faster because you can focus on one thing and they can focus on the other. And if that's their expertise, ideally it would be, then you can leverage that along each other and say, okay, I'm just going to do operations. You're going to do all the sales. Somebody who's stuck at sales is going to love somebody who's great at sales, right? Because you can leverage it and say, hey, like you can bring on 20 clients a month if you want. I can handle all of them. I'm good. So just remember, you can do anything, but you can't do everything. So you can learn how to cold call, pick up some clients, grow. You can learn how to do all the operations. You can learn how to buy a property. You can learn how to raise money. You can learn how to make the money. You can learn how to be a plumber. You can learn how to be an electrician. But you're not going to be able to do all of that and do it well and do it fast, right? So you want to leverage somebody or something that is really, really, really good in the parts that you don't compare to. All right. So that's why we have them. That's why we have partnerships. So for instance, for the Bluff House, the partners mainly, they brought the money. We are, and I was told many times this weekend, I don't want to figure that out. That's your cup of tea. Cool. Right? That's awesome. They brought the deal. They underwrote everything. They did all the due diligence. They're doing all of the maintenance side stuff. They're handling all of that. We're handling the launch side, the design, like helping with the design side, the presence, the bookings, the staff, all of that. We're handling all of that. So you have to remember, like we can do all that other stuff too. Creative finance, I love it. We can raise money. We can do all that stuff. But that deal was brought for us to be the experts in the space for operations, which we're really, really good at. We have the team and the infrastructure for it as well. So when you look at partnerships, one, I would identify if you need it, right? You don't want to just partner because you think it's going to be fun. Like there needs to be a reason for it, not just a thing to do. Okay. Let's see. Now, the partnerships on properties that we have is we were just at the Bluff House. And that is, we're doing all the operations. They brought the deal. They brought the money. They did all of that. That's a perfect partnership. The Aurora, we actually just signed. So Jeremy, my podcast partner, he's also in the group in the community. The Aurora is one that we are partnered on as of like last week. We've been steadily like coming in and helping, but the Aurora is one where it was actually already running. We're just replacing a partner. And so we're coming in with all the operations. We're going to do a lot of audits. We're going to do a lot of things to make sure that this property is successful. So we're getting, on both these deals, we get equity and management fee, right? Super low management fee because we have the equity side too. And then, of course, the Mallard. So that's the one we started with. We did everything here except bring all the money. So we raised the money. We had the deal. We did the due diligence. We did the negotiations, the offer, the close, raising the money, doing the design, doing the management side, the launch, the staff. We still operate it today. Trying to go through a refinance right now. Like we did almost everything for that deal, and I do not recommend it. 0 out of 10 recommend. Don't ever do that by yourself. Stress, no sleep, 20-hour days, 7 days a week, 8 days a week, like you name it, that's what happened. And that's why I would partner on the next deal. And that's why we have partnered on the next 2 deals. So these are the 3 hotels that we have now under management. The Bluff House launches May 21st. Aurora is already running, and so is the Mallard Hotel. If you have questions about this, you have questions about hotels in general, partnerships, like please reach out to me. Do not hesitate to ask anything. Maybe you're in a bad partnership and you need a little bit of consulting. You're like, hey, I just want to jump on a call and figure out like how to work through these problems. I'm here for you. Got you. I've dealt with a lot of people in good partnerships and bad partnerships. Unfortunately, I've done it with a lot more people in bad partnerships than good partnerships. And it's always that, well, I didn't have this conversation. I didn't have that conversation. I forgot about this. I didn't say this, but I was thinking this. Like, well, okay. Right? That's why we're here. Now, if you have any questions for the partnerships, please let me know. I'm going to shift over and we're going to talk very quickly about the 90-day challenge. So the 90-day challenge is starting mid-April. If you are co-hosting or want to co-host, want to pick up another property to manage for, not purchase, this isn't a challenge for purchasing it. This is the 90-day challenge. It's the co-hosting growth challenge. Last year we did this. We had 66 contracts created out of 13 people. It's not like we had 100 or 200 people in this and everybody got one deal or whatever. It was 66 contracts created out of 13 people. It's $800,000 a year in co-hosting contracts created. The biggest movement that anybody's ever seen, period, in this industry. It was absolutely insane. Then we launched it again in January for like 30 days just to see like what would 30 days do. Still had like 8 or 10 contracts signed between a few people. Crazy. Now we're going back to the 90-day challenge. It starts this month. You have to be in PowerPath to do it. You can't just sign up for it because we're very protective of who does the challenge as well. But it's people inside PowerPath. It's limited to the community. It's exclusive for the community. And I will tell you that this challenge will be even crazier. So we are personally putting it on the map to grow 25 more contracts. Like personally, like my company, Cherokee Rose Homes and Blue Ridge. 25 more properties is what we're growing, is what we want to go to. So we're going to increase 25 properties at the same time that you better be putting it on the map to grow by 10. Like no question. Okay. Our first call is going to be insane. We're already talking about exactly the structure for the call for that first week. It's going to be just absolutely insane. It's going to be fun. I know there's probably like 15 or 20 people already signed up for it inside PowerPath. If you guys are watching this and you're not in the community, you're not in the group, and you're curious and you want to grow and you want to really take your co-hosting business to the next level, and even get deal number 1 to deal number 10. We had somebody go from 0 to 12 last year and 0 to 8 last year. It is absolutely insane. So if that is something you want to do, something you want to talk about, see if it's right for you, maybe it's a bad time, maybe it's a good time, whatever, book a call. Let's jump on there. Let's just see what your goals are. Let's just see everything that you're doing and see if this is right for you. Okay. So the 90-day challenge comes up in a couple weeks. It is going to be amazing. All right. It's 12 weeks long. Seriously change your life for real. There's no question. Okay. If you're in PowerPath, the sign up form is in school. So just FYI. But other than that, that will conclude this week's training. Next week, we're going to be on a cruise. So I'm not going to be here for training next week. The week after that, we have the Acquisitions Cafe coming on live. It's 90 minutes every Monday. We're going to be dispoing deals. If you're looking to purchase, that's the live call that you need to be on. So we're going to do like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all of that. We're just going to be running live the whole time. Make sure you're there. If you're looking to buy a deal, you want to get a creative deal, these are usually already under contract. They already cash flow. They are ready to dispo with an entry fee. Super creative deals. Like I'm partnering with a team of wholesalers. Bobby and Jeremy, we're going to be looking at hotels and STRs. Most of the stuff's already under contract and they're dispoing for you. Now, if you're in PowerPath, you'll get exclusive access to these deals for the first 48 hours. After that, it'll go public. So if you guys want exclusivity to these deals, I think we have 6 or 8 ready to dispo right now, all over the country. We've got some forms out there that if you're looking for a certain place to purchase in, fill that out. That way it'll kind of give the team a good idea of like where to go and what not, what to look at and what to go for. So if you're interested in that, just use the same QR code. Just book a call off that. If you're interested in purchasing deals, there's a lot coming at you. So if you're not active in this community right now, in the free group, become active because there's a lot of things coming down the pipeline. So we're here to really change and break the STR industry to make it awesome to really get people to grow to where they want to grow. Quit the W-2s, increase the income, 2x, 3x, 4x the income. That's what we're about. That's what we do here. And if you want some extra coaching too, that's what we're here for too. So I will leave you with that. I hope you guys have a great weekend if I don't talk to you. And, hey, if you got a question, throw in the group, and I will talk to you guys later. See ya.